Historical context. To understand the creation of the Panzer I, we need to go back to the early 1930s, a period when Germany was still under the constraints of the Treaty of Versailles. After World War I, this treaty severely limited Germany's military capabilities, including a ban on the production and use of tanks. However, with the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi regime, Germany began secretly rebuilding its military strength, including the development of armored vehicles. The Panzer I was born out of this clandestine effort. Officially, it was developed under the guise of a tractor, but in reality, it was the beginning of Germany's rearmament program. The main purpose of the Panzer I was not to be a battlefield dominator, but rather a training vehicle to help German forces develop and perfect armored warfare tactics. Design and development. The design of the Panzer I was intentionally simple. It was a light tank, weighing just 5.4 tons, with a thin armor plating of 7 to 13 millimeters. This was enough to protect against small arms fire, but it left the tank vulnerable to anything heavier. The tank was powered by a 57-horsepower Krupp engine, which allowed it to reach speeds of up to 37 kilometers per hour, 23 miles per hour. Its armament was equally modest, consisting of two 7.92 mm MG-13 machine guns. These were effective against infantry but virtually useless against other armored vehicles. The Panzer I's primary role was not to engage in tank-on-tank combat, but to support infantry and train crews in armored tactics. The development of the Panzer I began in 1932, with the first prototypes, known as LAS, being completed by 1933. By 1934, the tank was in full production, with several hundred units being produced by companies like Henschel, Krupp, and Daimler-Benz. Operational history. The Panzer I first saw action during the Spanish Civil War in 1936, where it was deployed to support General Francisco Franco's forces. This conflict provided valuable experience for the German military in deploying and coordinating tank units, but it also exposed the Panzer I's weaknesses. Against more heavily armored Soviet tanks, the Panzer I was outmatched and outgunned. Despite these limitations, the Panzer I was used extensively in the early years of World War II, particularly during the invasions of Poland in 1939 and France in 1940. During these campaigns, the Panzer I formed a significant portion of the German panzer divisions. However, as the war progressed and the need for more heavily armed and armored tanks became apparent, the Panzer I was gradually phased out of frontline service. Legacy and impact. Although the Panzer I was not a war-winning weapon, its significance lies in its role as a stepping stone in the development of German armored forces. It allowed Germany to train a generation of tank crews and commanders who would later operate more advanced tanks like the Panzer III and Panzer IV. The lessons learned from the Panzer I's deployment helped shape the tactics of blitzkrieg, which would dominate the early years of World War II. The Panzer I also demonstrated the importance of tank mobility and crew coordination, principles that became core elements of German armored doctrine. By the time the Panzer I was replaced by more capable tanks, it had already laid the foundation for one of the most effective armored forces in history. Conclusion. The Panzerkampfwagen. The 1st of May not have been the most powerful or fearsome tank of World War II, but its role in the evolution of armored warfare cannot be overstated. From its origins as a covert training vehicle to its use in early blitzkrieg campaigns, the Panzer I was a crucial first step in Germany's path to becoming a tank powerhouse. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this look into military history, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next video.